Alright, okay. So, ayan, nagsa-start na siyang mag-record. But anyway, alright, so we'll do our class orientation for today, and then after which I'll be giving you an overview of, I don't know if you have already accessed TBL Hub, but if you haven't, I'm gonna be showing you our TBL Hub classroom as well. So you will know the things to, how to navigate our classroom. Kasi of course, mine will be set up differently from your other professors. So, ayan. Alright, ay, bakit ako dito nag-ano? Alright, ayan. So, I have here my class orientation. Alright, to before we begin, let me just introduce or give you a recap of the things that should be done, okay, during our synchronous sessions, okay? So, of course, whenever you come in, that's why I ask you to use your UMAC email address, because one, for security purposes, and two, you don't have to change a lot of things on it anymore. Kasi yung full name nyo nandyan na, all you need to do is just upload a picture on it so that I could properly see you if there are times that you cannot turn on your cameras, all right? So this time, this semester actually, medyo may rule tayo sa HSU. I don't know if most of you are already aware of this. Pinapirma ba kayo ng conforme letter? Wala pa? Okay. So, sa grade 11 kasi, meron silang pinirmahan, yung parents nila merong pinirmahan na parang conforme letter. Okay, so yung letter na yon, it contains certain things, certain instructions. For example, of course, that we will be using Google Meet or Zoom during synchronous sessions. And with the acknowledgement of the parent na we will be using those platforms, they need, of course, to provide for their children the necessary equipment or materials, or not materials, equipment and setting to be conducive for learning. So parang may ganon, may something. And one of the things that is included in that letter is that for this semester, we are actually requiring our students to turn on their cameras. Not for the entire semester, not for the entire period of the class. But for example, if you are called on to recite, please do turn on your camera. Okay, but if you have, of course, the capacity to turn it on the entire time, then why not? Okay, once again, that's making your presence known. Okay, so I do highly recommend it. If you have the capacity to do it, then please keep your cameras on so I can see you. Alam kong hindi ako nag-iisa dito. Okay, so ayun, please do turn on your cameras, and then of course, stay muted. And then if you need to ask something or if you need to say something, please don't hesitate to raise your hand, all right? Or type in your messages on the chat box, and then wait for me to acknowledge you, and then you can unmute, all right? And then you can talk. Okay, this is oral communication. We will be having plenty of time to talk. Hindi lang ako ang magsasalita dito. Okay, so ayan. Alright, so next is, of course, nakatulad yan na nasabi ko, use the chat box for questions and concerns. Alright, I would like to welcome you once again to the University of Makati. This is your second year in the university, and most of you, after this year, will be joining us once again sa college department naman. Ayan. So, HSU, of course, is the senior high school department of the university. And di na ako magbibigay ng masyadong details regarding HSU kasi feeling ko naman aware naman na kayo na HSU is actually one of the pioneers sa senior high school program. So, isa tayo sa mga pinakamatandang institution na nag-offer ng senior high school program from the very beginning. Kaya nga, di ba, 8th commencement exercises na namin as compared to other senior high schools na pang ilan pa lang nila, pangalawa, pang-apat, pang-anim, pero tayo, 8th na natin. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga yung first batch na graduate ng senior high school sa UMAC, graduate na sila ng college ngayon, and they are also working already. And in fact, some of them are already working as faculty members in University of Makati. So, ayan. Kaya huwag kayong magtaka kung bakit during the admission process, sobrang tagal. ang tagal ng admission process kasi maraming gustong pumasok sa UMAC. 1,500 lang yung in-accommodate namin during your time. Actually, starting your batch, 1,500 lang yung in-accommodate namin. Of course, because of the setup. And ang daming nagreklamo, bakit 1,500 lang daw, blah, 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 online naman, blah, blah, blah. Pero, ayun, mahirap siya kasi yun nga, online tayo, kulang tayo sa teachers, alam nyo naman yan. And mahirap magturo ng mga skills-based program, which of course, UMAC offers. Okay, yun yung madami dati sa atin eh. Nung face-to-face pa, mga skills-based program yung madami. Kaya marami kaming TVL students before. As in, sobrang dami talaga namin. Ang HRS namin dati, parang umabot kami ng 10 sections. Ganun sila kadami. Para mas madami pa sila sa ACAD before. So, ang dami talaga nila nun. Ang dami nila. Nagpag-graduate, nung pasok ko sa UMAC, ang graduate sa amin na grade 12 students nun, more than 3,000 if I'm not mistaken. So, ang dami. Okay? And yun yung reason kung bakit medyo, yun nga, limited lang. And of course, medyo strict tayo when it comes to admission. Baka kasi may kilala kayo na nag-back out kasi hindi nila nakuha yung particular strand na to, ganyan-ganyan. Well, that's the reality of it kasi eh. Hindi namin ma-accommodate everyone. So as much as possible, we based it on the scholastic records of our students. So ayun, I will not talk too much about it. The HSC admin, you already know them. Dean Benosa is, of course, our dean. Our college secretary / assistant dean is, of course, Dr. Tom Quinones. Our department heads, Sir Odi, Ma'am Annabel, Ma'am Mabanag for TVL, Academic and Arts and Design respectively. So if you need anything, actually tayo, academic tayo. So si Ma'am, excuse me. Si Ma'am Annabel Orinia yung ating department head rather, okay? Under those department heads, of course, we have our subject coordinators, ABM and Language, Ma'am Tamayosa, Ma'am Ramos for Hope or PE, Ma'am Reyes for Math and Science, Ma'am Canlas for Social Science. So tayo, I am an English teacher. So I fall under Ma'am Tamayosa's care. All right. So for example, if you are having problems or troubles with me as a teacher, you can always ask Ma'am Tamayosa. You can always consult Ma'am Tamayosa. Similarly, if you are having problems, of course, with your other classes, depende kung saang department sila magpo-fall. For example, UCSP, yung mga majors nyo kasi HUMSS kayo, di ba? Social science kayo. So, ayan. Kung meron kayong problema sa GenMath, feeling ko naman tapos na kayo sa GenMath. So, ayan, Math and Science. Yung mga ganun. Kung meron kayong problem sa PE, pwede kayo kay Ma'am Ramos pumunta. Alright? So, ayun po. As long as it concerns, of course, the curriculum and the teachers involved, pwede kayong dumiretso sa ating subject coordinators. Or, kung ayaw nyo sa subject coordinators, papuntahin nyo muna sa advisor nyo. May I ask, sino ang advisor natin? Kilala nyo na ba?
Si Sir Rodney Ramirez.
Okay. So, si Sir Rodney. Kilala ko naman si Sir Rodney. So, it's not gonna be a problem. Alright. So, those are our subject coordinators. Our school policies, you already know this. Diniscuss na to during orientation. I don't have to talk about this anymore. Alright. So, let's talk about the class itself. So, actually, please check your COR. Baka mamaya sa ibang class kayo na enroll. Oral communication po is your class with me. We are scheduled every Mondays and Thursdays, if I'm not mistaken. Mondays, Thursdays, from 6 a.m. to 7:30. Alright? So, napakaaga ng klase natin. But, we will not be having our synchronous sessions every time that we have a schedule for oral com. Alam niyo naman siguro yan. So, I am hoping that your advisor will be the one to discuss this. But as you all know, bawat klase, for example, English classes, meron lang kayong nakaschedule na araw kung saan pwede kayong mag-synchronous session. So, in a week, let me remind everyone that in a week, one class is only allowed one synchronous session. Okay? So, tayo, nakaschedule lang tayo every Monday. So, ibig sabihin, from every Monday, from 6 to 7:30, dun lang tayo pwedeng mag-synchronous sessions. Alright? So, later, we'll talk more on that. Okay, but let me give you a background first on what oral communication is all about. Sige, later na yan. Okay, so oral communication, based on the title itself, it's talking about communication, particularly the way that we deliver it using our speech, our voice. So you really have to talk in this class. Kung face-to-face class to, alam nyo, oral communication is actually one of the, if not the most, it's my favorite class. Okay, it's one of my favorite classes. Kasi it's one of my favorite classes to teach because we actually have a lot of activities here. So, kung face-to-face tayo, hindi ako mahihirapan eh. Kaya lang kasi, online tayo ngayon. So, I cannot force everyone, of course, to talk. And I really don't, my ears do not have the capacity to listen to everyone talk at the same time. Iba yung ingay kapag naka-earphones ka. Alam nyo yan. Okay, iba yung ingay kapag lumalabas siya sa laptop mo. So, halimbawa, sabay-sabay kayo nagtataas ng kamay or sabay-sabay kayo nagre-recite, hindi siya kaya ng tenga ko on an online setup. So, we have to do things, we have to make some adjustments. But nevertheless, okay, you will still be doing a lot of talking. So, kahit hindi to talking while we are in a synchronous session, this will be done talking, recording yourself, okay? So, yon yung mga ganon. Marami akong requirements this time na kailangan nyo talagang i-video yung sarili nyo kasi that's the only way to assess you. Hindi ko kaya kayong i-schedule isa-isa na, oy, mag-Google Meet tayo, ganyan-ganyan. Though we will be doing that. Pero, yun nga, I'd rather much prefer it, and I know you would rather much prefer it if it's a recorded, kesa yung naka-online setup kayo na 6 o'clock hala, nagre-recite ako, nakabihis pa ako, tapos nagsi-speech ako, di ba? So, I'm sure you would rather prefer it na naka-ready kayo, yung mind nyo was okay with it, and you had time to prepare all throughout the day. So, may mga requirements tayo na gano'n. I hope that you will not be shocked na, si ma'am pa-upload ng video, ganyan-ganyan. Pero you have to be ready for it kasi oral communication to. So I cannot really do much about it. I just want you to learn the skills and practice the skills as much as possible. Okay? So at least kahit ganun, ayun, magagawa natin siya. Alright? So, oral communication is a core subject, rather, hindi pala siya applied subject. It's a core subject, so it's a requirement. From the previous school years, actually, oral com is supposedly taken by grade 11 students first semester. So, bago pa man sila mag-reading and writing, mag-EAPP, oral com muna sila. Kaya medyo ready sila kapag nagre-recite during those classes. Pero this time, binago siya kasi kala nila magiging okay na yung school, yung setup. Yun nga, kasi oral com is a face-to-face class talaga dapat. Okay? So, ayun, that's what basically oral com is all about. So, we will be doing a lot of talking. We will be doing a lot of communicating. If not with me, you will be communicating with your peers. You need to do interviews. You need to talk with them. Okay? So, yun, kailangan natin siyang i-practice. Alright? So, you will be taught here skills on how to deliver speeches, how to write speeches, though that's towards the end of the semester pa naman. But still, all of our lectures will be leading up to that. Okay, so mostly yung application part na natin towards the finals na. Okay, but still all of our lectures will be leading towards that. All right, so let me give you an overview. I hope everyone understands what the class is all about. Again, if you have any questions, just please do type them on the chat box or raise your hand so I can properly acknowledge you. Okay, so let me talk about the grading system. Since this is a core subject, by default, kung face-to-face to, 25%, 50%, 25%. And as you can see, performance tasks, ayan, ay 50%. So that's a bulk of your grade, performance tasks. Okay? Actually, yung iba ko mga estudyante, lagi nilang sinasabi, kapag nagawa mo lahat ng performance tasks, buhay ka na. Okay? Ibig sabihin, makaka-survive ka na throughout the semester. You don't have to worry about your grades anymore. Okay? Pero still, of course, since we don't have our quarterly assessment or yung midterm exam natin and final exam, wala tayong ganun eh ngayon. So, tanggal si 25%. So, ma'am, saan siya napunta? Ang hatian na ngayon, written tasks, 40%, whereas performance task will be 60%. Okay? Not all written works, for me ha, in my class, since oral com tayo, not all written works are written. Alright? And not all performance tasks are supposed to be performed. Performed in terms of singing, dancing, yung mga ganyan, pagpe-prepare ng mga video, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Alright? So there are certain performance tasks. Take, for example, when you outline your speech, that would be considered a performance task. Kasi heavy yun eh. Heavy requirement yun. So, nilagay ko siya sa 60% para malaki yung hatak niya kumbaga. All right? So that's how I do my grading. But you will be informed naman. So the thing with me is even if you ask have I been your teacher before? Hindi pa, no? Not yet. All right. So, I haven't been your teacher before. If you would ask my students from before, I'm very considerate towards giving grades. Hindi nyo kailangan mag-worry about your grades in my class. I can give as high as 98. Hindi ko kayo bibigyan ng 99, hindi ko kayo bibigyan ng 100, but I can give you as high as 98. That's my ceiling. Yun yung pinakamataas na grade for me. Kasi pag 99, parang sobra naman yun. Pag 100, lalo, okay? So, I'm not really into giving those grades. But 98 is the highest grade I can give. And I could give it to the entire class without blinking an eye. So, kaya ko kayong bigyan lahat nun. In fact, many of my students from before, from just this previous semester, EAPP pa yung class namin, 94, 96, 98, dun lang nag-range yung grades nila. So, from 94 to 98. Okay, hindi ako madamot sa grades kasi aanhin ko naman yung grades ninyo, 'di ba? Hindi naman ako papakainin ng grades ninyo. So, why not give it to you? All right? But, of course, in return, you have to accomplish the task required. Alright? So, later i-explain ko ano yung mga task natin for this class. But, I will not give you a 98 grade if you don't submit your requirements. Don't expect a high grade if you are not submitting requirements. Ako yun lang naman, for my online class, I just want you, of course, to participate during synchronous sessions and submit the requirements. After nun, kapag natapos na natin yun, nakatapos na tayo ng synchronous session, nakatapos na tayo ng mga requirements, you don't have to worry about anything. Alright? So, I give feedback as much as possible to my students as well, like personalized feedback na kapag halimbawa nagpasa sila ng essay, I do take the time to read everything. Okay? Kasi pinaghirapan ng estudyante yan. So, I do comment on it personally, as in personalize yung comment ko. And I take the time, of course, to give my students the information that they need before they could even prepare for that particular requirement or before they could even submit. So, you will be properly guided naman on how to accomplish it. And hopefully, all the instructions I wrote on TBL Hub will suffice. Okay? So, ayan. So, like what I have mentioned earlier, written works 40%, performance task 60%. That might change. Pwede pong magbago yan. In case na magbigay sila ngayon ng departmental exam. Pero I doubt kasi na magbibigay sila ng departmental exam. Very difficult siya on an online setup where anyone could easily cheat. So, we are still looking into that, okay, pero I doubt na this year siya mangyayari kasi medyo mahal yung system para sabay-sabay kayo lahat mag-departmental exam. So, ayun po. Okay. Alright, let's move on. If you are not aware of it by now, let me just inform you that your grades are transmuted. Kaya kayo nakakakuha ng mataas na grado is because your grades are transmuted. Ibig sabihin, yung raw grade nyo, okay, yung raw grade, yan yung mababang grade ninyo. So, yung grade na yan, halimbawa nakakuha kayo for example ng 70, yung row, tama, 70, around 70. So, yung 70 na grade nyo, hindi yan 70 lalabas sa card. Lalabas yan, 81. Okay, kung nakikita niyo 81. So, merong mga estudyante kasi ako nagrereklamo. Bakit ko po sinasabi? I have to say this, I have to discuss this during the first day of the class. Because some students, by the end of the term, by the end of the semester, nagtatanong sila, ma'am, bakit po si ganito? Pareho kami ng grade na nakuha sa ganyan, sa ganto, ganyan, ganyan. Pero, mas mataas yung grade niya kesa sa akin. So, lagi kong sinasabi na, kasi yung grades nyo, transmuted yan. So, take for example, ikaw nakakuha ka ng 71, tapos siya, ang raw score, ang initial grade niya or yung raw grade niya ay 72. By default, hindi siya maliit na difference, okay? 81 na kagad siya, or parang for example, ikaw 71.19 ka, tapos siya 71.20, agad-agad 82 na siya, ikaw 81. So, 'di ba? 1 point na difference na kagad 'yun kahit ang difference niya lang talaga ay 0.01. Alright? So, medyo may mga ganun kasi talaga, hindi 'yun naiiwasan, and I'm open to discussion naman regarding grades. Bukas ako lagi pag-discuss ng grades, okay? Kahit tanungin niyo pa lahat ng mga naging estudyante ko. I give updates regarding grades. Bago ko pa 'yan, for example, bago ko pa ipasa ang midterm grades ninyo, ibibigay ko sa inyo ang class record ko. O, ito, ganyan, ganyan. So, you will have time, of course, to defend your grades. Kasi baka mamaya, tao lang ako. Okay? Isang tao lang, hindi naman ako machine na nag-i-input ng grades. So, I make sure that my students know how they're graded, what are their records with me, para pag may nakita kayo na, ma'am, nagpasa naman ako dito pero wala dun sa class record nyo. So you could give those kinds of feedback, and I could make the necessary adjustments, okay? Kasi hindi talaga may iwasan po na makakaskip ako sometimes, okay? Kasi minsan naduduling ako sa pagre-record. So, forgive me if that happens. Pero tao rin lang ako, nagkakamali. But I'm always open to discussion. I can always change it before I could finalize it. Okay? But once I'm done finalizing the grades, then tapos na tayo. If I have already given you the opportunity to talk with me, to discuss it, to check it, then that's your fault na hindi mo chinek, di ba? Okay? Kasi binigyan na kita ng opportunity eh. Okay, pero if you didn't grab that opportunity, then that's your fault. Okay, that's your loss, not mine. So, don't worry about it. Bago nyo pa makita ang grades nyo sa system, ibibigay ko muna yan sa inyo. Okay? I will finalize it with you guys first before I finalize it on my end. Kasi hindi talaga maiiwasan na nagkakamali ako. And it happened all the time. And I don't want to go through the hassle of you demanding for your grades once it has been finalized. Kasi mahirap din yon. Mahirap din yun mabago. Meron akong estudyante na nakagraduate na siya lahat-lahat, hindi pa rin nababago yung grade niya sa system. So, problematic yun kasi lalo na ngayon, you will be applying for college with only your grades. Alam niyo yan. And I know a lot of you are hoping to get into good universities, di ba? Tama ako? So, syempre, gusto nyo, maganda yung grades nyo kasi gusto nyo pumasok sa UP, gusto nyo pumasok sa top 4 universities, okay? And grades lang ang ipapakita nyo this time around. So, as much as possible, the prettier your record is, the better it is for you. The more advantage you have. Okay? So, I want to give you that opportunity to discuss your grades with me. Hindi ako mahirap kausap. Okay? Basta pagdating sa grade, madali tayong makakapag-usap tayo regarding that one. Hindi ako madamot. Alright? So, ayan. Okay. Next one. So, some modes of teaching and learning. Siyempre, nauna na si TBL Hub, di ba? Okay. Discuss ko na rin to. Alam nyo na to. We have our online synchronous sessions. We will be having it on Google Meet. Kasi I don't have a premium Zoom account and I don't wanna be cut off during synchronous sessions because later discuss ko na mamaya. Okay. And then, sometimes there might be instances wherein internet might be scarce. So we might be using Messenger, I'm not really Messenger kasi natatabunan ako sa Messenger. Facebook. So yung Facebook group natin, I created that so that we could discuss if just in case na hindi available si Google Meet. Okay, or I don't have the capacity to conduct my classes via Google Meet. Pero rare naman yun. I never naman siyang nangyari. So, yun lang. But for online and offline asynchronous sessions, of course, we have number one, TBL Hub. Everything will be on TBL Hub. So lahat, mamaya papakita ko. We also have our Facebook group. You can use Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Sheets, and everything else. Okay? So TBL Hub is powered by Moodle. As you all know, ayan po. So hindi na kayo mahihirapan. And I think you already have experience navigating it. So I'm hoping na hindi na tayo hirap kasi last year sobrang hirap kami. Ang dami naming naging problema like submitting requirements, ma'am, hindi pumasok yung requirement ko, blah blah blah, ganyan ganyan, attendance. Pero this time around, I'm guessing medyo familiar na kayo with the system. And medyo familiar actually hindi naman, even last year familiar na naman ako, pero at least I'm more competent now than before in using the hub. Okay, so submission of activities and requirements, there are times that hindi kasi siya kayang i-accommodate ng TBL Hub. Kasi as you all know, we have data limitation. Alright? So, meron tayong limitation ng data. 15 MB lang yung kaya niyang i-accommodate na file size. So, 'di ba, 15 MB, hindi kaya ng PowerPoint. Hindi PowerPoint presentation nga, hindi kaya 'yon eh. So, madalas mga Word document lang 'yan, PDF, image, yung ganyan. Pero ayun po, so you will be forced to use other platforms, and more often than not, that is Google Drive. So alam niyo na 'to, kung bihasa na kayo sa Google Drive, then definitely this one will not be difficult for you. All you have to do is use your UMAC account. Unlimited po ang space niyan as of the moment. Okay? So hindi pa natin nare-reach yung threshold ng institution cap natin. So upload lang na upload, go lang ang go. Okay? So, ayan, ako nga may mga pelikula na naka-upload dun sa Google Drive ko sa UMAC eh. Kasi ang taas ng cap niya eh, 'di ba? Unlimited siya as of now. So, ayun. So, as of now unlimited siya, pero by next year daw magkakaroon na ng threshold, sabi ng Google. Okay? But as of the moment, di pa natin nare-reach yung threshold na yon. So, nag-upload lang ako ng pelikula. Okay, so ayan. Use your UMAC account. If you are familiar with Canva, kapag nag-sign up kayo sa Canva, kinonect niyo yun sa UMAC account nyo. Di ba meron doon, sign up for an account, use Google. Yun, gamitin niyo yung UMAC account nyo for Canva. Automatic yan. Ang account nyo ay premium, Edu Premium. So, lahat ng mga premium subscriptions, ma-access nyo, magagamit nyo. Okay, so, ayan. Alright. Alam niyo na siguro 'to, all you need to do is just go to googledrive.com and then upload your file. 'Di ba drag and drop lang naman sa Google Drive. Alright, so some of my classroom rules. Ito, very important 'to. Classroom rules. My classroom rules, every time that we submit requirements, every time that we do, how do I say this? Discussions in class, plagiarism, number one rule ko talaga, plagiarism in any form is not allowed. Medyo allergic ako sa plagiarism right now. Actually, I'm one of the faculty who have been pushing for an integration of Turnitin. Ni-request namin to kasi member ako ng TBL Hub lead team. Okay, so I'm actually the curriculum and instructional developer of TBL Hub. So, ni-request namin to with our talk with the admin to have Turnitin integrated. Alam niyo ba yung Turnitin? Isa siyang application wherein it checks for plagiarized works. So, you need just to double check, or you just need to upload your file and then it will check automatically. So, pwede siyang i-integrate sa TBL Hub. So, pinupush namin yun. Medyo mahal kasi siya. Sobrang mahal niya. And, yun, tinitingnan namin kung kaya ng budget. Pero since malaki naman budget na binibigay ng City Hall sa atin, why not, 'di ba? So baka by next year pa siya ma-integrate kasi yung budget for this year, approved na yan eh, hindi na siya pwedeng galawin. And kailangan lang siyang i-propose for budget hearing next year, which already happened. But anyway, in my class, ang dami ko na naman daldal, plagiarism in any form is not allowed. So kahit isang sentence lang yan na mahuli ko, na kinopy-paste mo, Okay, isang sentence ha, tandaan nyo, kahit isang sentence lang yan na kinopy-paste nyo from Google or any other online source, any other published material, that is considered plagiarism already. So I'm assuming you already had reading and writing, you already had EAPP. Those should have already been discussed with you kung ano ang repercussions ng plagiarism. And in my class, katulad nga na nasabi ko kanina, if you are asked to submit an essay, if you are asked to submit a paragraph format essay, uh, an essay format answer, okay, I expect you to do it on your own terms. Original, okay? Ayoko nang kinopy-paste nyo lang siya. If ika-copy-paste nyo siya, make sure to cite your sources. So, dahil nag-EAPP na kayo, dahil nag-reading and writing na kayo, dapat alam nyo na to. And I know it should have been taught during those times on how to properly cite sources. So, hindi ko na siya kailangang i-discuss, okay? But in my class, kahit isang sentence lang yan, automatically grade of 0. No exemptions. So kahit ikaw pa pinakamatalino, this already happened ha, during face-to-face classes, kahit ikaw pa pinakamatalino sa klase pero nahuli kita na nag-plagiarize, ang gawa mo automatic 0. So, wala na tayong discussion. End of discussion na yan. Hindi na kita ipagde-defend kasi ako kapag I accuse a student of plagiarism, nilalagyan ko kagad yan kung saang link niya kinuha. So, I take the time. Katulad nga sabi ko, binabasa ko yan isa-isa. So, alam ko. And I do certain activities throughout the semester which allows me to assess your skills in writing, in speaking. Okay? So, alam ko kung ano yung kaya nyo. I know your capacity. I know how much you know your vocabulary. So, huwag kayong magpahuli. Okay, as much as possible, okay lang naman gumamit ng other sources. It's okay. Alam nyo, the more sources you have, the more references you have, the more scholastic you come off. Yan ang sinabi sa amin sa MA. The more sources you cite, the more references you cite, the more scholastic you come off. The more academic you come off. Ibig sabihin, you are taking the time to research on that particular topic. So, pinapalawak mo yung alam mo, 'di ba? So okay lang 'yon as long as you cite them properly. Wala naman pong masama doon. Other even academicians also do that. They also copy and paste a part of certain thing. Pero the difference is that sinasite nila properly, okay? So, yun lang naman yung gusto ko. Practice citing sources and of course, do not engage in plagiarism because plagiarism is a crime, okay? Pet peeve ko talaga to sa mga estudyante kasi I don't want you to grow up thieves, okay? Alam nyo, ang plagiarism ay pagnanakaw. So, I don't want you to grow up thinking that it's an okay act, okay siyang gawin, which is not. Hindi siya okay. Alam nyo yon. So, avoid it as much as possible. If you are to copy-paste certain things, then cite your sources right away. Ako ganun ang ginagawa ko. Halimbawa, gumagawa ako ng paper, tapos parang nakita ko tong paragraph na to, ay okay to, baka pwede kong i-paraphrase kapag dun sa essay ko na. So, kinaka-copy-paste ko siya, pero I make sure na pati yung link kung saan ko siya kinuha, kinaka-copy-paste ko rin. And then, by the time na isusulat ko na yung paper ko, I could properly cite the source. So, pwede nyo rin gawin yung mga ganon. Alright, but yon number 1, kung mapapansin nyo, number 1 ko yan talaga kasi pet peeve ko talaga yan. Ayaw na ayaw ko talaga ng plagiarism. Once again, if I caught you plagiarizing your work, then that's an automatic grade of 0. Wala tayong patawad dyan kasi classroom rule ko yan. And I make sure to discuss it with my students beforehand. Alright? Second one, I just want you to be respectful, not if you cannot have it in you to respect me as your teacher, then at least respect your classmates. Okay? Kasi I believe that if you are disrespecting your teacher, anyone in class, then you are disrespecting those people that are, or who are willing to learn. Okay? Who are ready to learn. So, sabi ko nga, kapag face-to-face, kapag nambastos ka ng teacher, para mo nang binastos yung mga kaklase mo. Okay? Kasi it will disrupt the class. It will disturb the class and the dynamics of the class will be different. So, let's be respectful to one another. Okay, the third one, of course, is always be kind. Ayan. So, if you could offer help to your classmates, why not? If you need help from me and I can I can help you to the best of my ability, then why not? Okay? So let's be kind to one another. Let's be respectful to one another. If you need someone to talk to, then you just want someone to listen, you can always message me on Facebook. Okay? So, be open to talking, to discussing certain things kasi that's part of growth. Okay? So, ayun. Let's move on. Etiquette for online classes, hindi na natin yan pagdadaanan kasi I'm sure many of you are already familiar with this one. Okay, so let me introduce myself first before I check the attendance. Okay, so meet the teacher. Okay, most of you, if not most of you, many of you already know me. I am Miss Catricia Faye G. Pingol. You can call me Miss Cat or, sorry, Miss Cat or Teacher Cat. So, I don't like to be called, hindi naman sa I don't like, I just do not prefer to be called Miss Pingol. Kasi, kapag naririnig ko yung Miss Pingol, parang ang tinatawag yung nanay ko. And I don't wanna feel old. Many of you might be asking how old I am already. I'm already old. So, baka mamaya kasing edad ko mga nanay at yung iba sa inyo siguro, baka kasing edad ko yung nanay at tatay nyo. Okay, yung mga medyo may bata-bata pa dyan na nanay or tatay, baka kasing edad ko nanay at tatay nyo. But anyway, alright, medyo matanda na ako, pero mukha lang akong bata. Alright, kaya yung iba kong mga estudyante minsan nadadala sila na feeling nila kasing edad lang nila ako. Hindi po. Okay, medyo matanda na ako. So, ready na akong mag-asawa at ready na akong mag-settle down. But, yun nga, um, I just don't like to be called Miss Pingol kasi I do feel old and I don't wanna feel that way. I want to stay young as much as possible, or at least I wanna feel young. If not by age, at least in my mindset, in my heart, I'm still young. So, ayan, age is but a number naman anyway. So, you can just call me Miss Cat or Teacher Cat. Bakit, ma'am, bakit Teacher Cat? Parang, very elementary or very preschool. Okay, the reason why I prefer to be called Teacher Cat, and you would know because of my Facebook handle as well. Ang Facebook handle ko, Teacher Cat Pingol. Alam niyo yan. Yung iba sa inyo tumutungo kasi nakita na nila ako sa Facebook. Okay, but the reason for that is because I am not actually not science high school, senior high school teacher. So, hindi talaga ako senior high school teacher. I was a preschool teacher from before. So, for 5 years, I was a preschool teacher in a small international school. Diyan lang sa may Rockwell. So, ayun, yung mga clients namin before, mga foreigners. Pero preschool siya, so we cater to those students. Alright? So, ako din, graduate din ako nung college, nag-graduate din ako ng elementary education, major in teaching in the early grades. So, ang major ko talaga ay teaching in the early grades. So, kinder to grade 2 talaga yung hawak ko. But, when I found my first work, yung job ko before coming to UMAC, preschool teacher kasi siya. Kasi mahilig talaga ako sa bata. So, gusto ko talaga na bata yung tinuturuan. Okay? Pero yun nga, something unfortunate happened which did not allow me to continue with becoming preschool teacher. Kasi if you would know, I don't know if aware kayo dito, pero kapag preschool teacher ka or early grades teacher ka, di ba kailangan mong gumalaw, kailangan mong magbuhat, hindi ko na yun magagawa right now. At least yung pagbubuhat, hindi ko na magagawa. Hindi na ako makakabuhat ng bata. Okay? Hindi ko na kaya magbuhat ng bata na parang sako ng bigas. So, ayun, hindi ko na siya magagawa right now kasi I broke my arm. So, yung isa kong arm, hindi naman siya, okay pa naman siya, fully functioning pa naman siya. Baka mamaya nagtataka kayo. Okay, fully functioning siya, pero kasi meron siyang bakal. So, hindi ako pwedeng mag-exert ng too much effort using this particular arm. So, left arm ko yung may problem, by the way. So, ayun. Yeah, I stopped teaching in preschool. I left my previous work and then I decided it was about time na kasi to move from private to public. Okay? Actually, medyo mabigat yung decision na yun with me. Aside from, of course, breaking my arm. Yung boss ko naman, wala naman siyang problema with it. Pero kasi ako, personal decision ko na lang yun na umalis din. Kasi, I wanted to move to the public sector. So, gustong-gusto ko na talagang magturo in public school. So, it's just that dapat magpaparank na ako sa DepEd para maging grade 2 teacher, grade 3 teacher, yung mga ganyan, elementary school teacher. Pero, nauna kasing dumating si UMAC. So, nung nag-apply ako sa UMAC, ang initial kong application was academic support staff. So, office. Pero nung nakita nila yung license ko, sabi nila, better if magturo ka na lang kasi kailangan nga nila ng senior high school teacher before. So, ayun, siguro later malalaman nyo rin kung bakit nila ako pinagturo. But, yon. Alright? So, that's the reason why I prefer to be called Teacher Cat kasi I was a teacher before in preschool. Huwag din kayong magtataka kung minsan, medyo preschool-ish yung mga activities natin. Pero, lalo na kapag nagsisynchronous session tayo, kasi ganun yung approach ko. And merong mga comments sa akin before during teacher evaluation na, ma'am, parang minsan nakakalimutan mo ata na nasa senior high school ka, hindi na kami bata, ganyan. Sorry, sorry kung ganon. Okay, kasi I'm really used to approaching my students in a motherly parental way. Okay, so madalas akong tumawag ng nak, ganyan, and so on and so forth. Alam niyo na yan. So, ayun. I graduated from University of the Philippines, Diliman. Yun nga, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, bachelor's degree, bachelor's of elementary education. So, bachelor in elementary education yung tinapos ko in UP Diliman. I've always wanted to become a teacher. I could have been anywhere else. I could have been somewhere else, but I decided to become a teacher because yun talaga yung childhood dream ko. So, marami ako mga kamag-anak na sinasabi nila, matalino ka naman, ganyan, blah blah blah. You can do greater things, pero bakit ka nag-teacher? Sabi ko, there's nothing greater than being a teacher. Kasi ayan, wala nang tatalo doon. Kasi you create other professions, 'di ba? You would agree with that. So kahit maliit yung sweldo, okay lang sa akin, masaya ako sa ginagawa ko, which I think would be reflected naman whenever we talk, whenever we discuss in class. So I'm happy with where I am right now. Hindi po malaki ang sweldo sa UMAC. We are just government employees. Lagi pang delayed ang sahod namin. So, maliit lang ang sweldo, as in maliit lang compared to others. And it's just enough to sustain a family of one person. So, pang solo lang talaga siya. Okay? Pero kapag magpapamilya ka na, hindi na talaga siya okay to bring up a family. So, ayun. I graduated from UP. During my stay in UP, I had the opportunity to be flown to Korea. So I studied in South Korea for 1 year for a scholarship program. I encourage my students actually to always engage in opportunities like this. Meron kasi ako mga estudyante na, ma'am, fan ako ng K-pop, ganyan. Pero kapag ino-offeran ko sa kanila na, oy, ito may scholarship for this one, baka gusto mo. Okay? Nag-hesitate naman sila. Okay? Ako hindi ako nag-hesitate dati. Hindi maganda yung grades ko before. Trust me. As in, sobrang hindi siya okay. Hindi siya okay. Pero nag-attempt ako na mag-apply for this particular scholarship. And then, after the interview, I think I aced the interview kasi during that time. So, ayun, after that, I was lucky to be flown to Korea for 1 year. All expenses paid. Everything, pati allowance namin meron, pati food namin meron, pati lodging namin meron, pati trabaho meron kami during that time. So, that was the best year of my life. That was back in 2011. That is also the reason why I can understand Korean a bit. Okay, and I can read and write fluently in Korean. Pero salita, hindi na masyado. Basic na lang yung mga alam ko. Pero yun, I'm trying to learn. I'm hoping to learn once again kasi I want to study once again po in Korea or somewhere else, kahit saan. But I just want to learn another language or at least relearn Korean again. Kasi dati, when I was still in Korea, naging fluent na ako eh. Kasi syempre, di ba, the environment will force you to talk, to use the language. So, ayun. So, I was in Korea Tech. That's an hour away from Seoul. Medyo malapit kami sa Seoul. Kaya ako, ang bakasyon ko lagi, I would want it to be spent in Korea. nag-iipon talaga ako para makapunta ako ng Korea kasi kahit doon mo lang ako pabalikin. That's one place na yun yung naging second home ko kasi. So, marami akong friends na nasa Korea pa until now and they accommodate me. Even until now, we do have communication. So, they accommodate me every time that I'm there. So, I take my vacation usually sa Korea talaga. Pero ngayon, since pandemic, hindi tayo makapunta doon. Tsaka, they have it worse over there. Okay, medyo magulo sa kanila doon ngayon. But anyway, ayun po. I studied in Korea and if you want someone to talk to about Korean dramas, medyo hindi na ako K-pop fan ngayon. Pero if you want someone to talk to about Korean dramas, I'm the person. Medyo nag-a-addict tayo ngayon sa mga Korean dramas. Not so much on K-pop, but Korean dramas, yes. Alright. Ngayon, currently, I am taking my master's degree. I am towards the end of my journey as a master's student. Thesis na ako. Okay, so Philippine Normal University po ako naka-enroll ngayon and I'm taking up educational leadership and management kasi bakit yon? Hindi ka pa nagtuloy-tuloy na preschool or elementary education. I really want to create ang life goal ko kasi ay mag-create ng isang organization to cater to single moms. Okay? Parang wala pa kasing ganun dito eh. So, yun yung life goal ko. After I have enough money, I want to create a non-government organization to cater to single moms. Wherein it's a place for them where they could put their kids while they work. Okay? So, yun yung life goal ko, na magtayo ng isang school na kahit small school lang or parang daycare center kung saan pwedeng ilagay ng mga single mothers yung mga children nila while they are looking for work or while they are out doing work. Kasi 'di ba, I don't know if what your family situation is, but if you are in a single parent household, then you know the struggles of being in a single parent household, or at least your parent knows, okay, the struggles of being in a single parent household. Mahirap siya. It's very difficult. My mom is also or was also a single parent while she was raising us, and I know how difficult it was. So, yun yung life goal ko talaga. Kaya I took educational leadership and management heading towards that particular goal. Kasi gusto ko nga magtayo ng school. Okay? So, ayun. Hopefully, kapag nakapag-ipon na talaga ng pag mayaman na ako or pag tumama tayo sa loto, baka mangyari siya. Okay? Pero, hopefully, yon. Alright. So, yan, like what I have said, I could speak English, I taught Filipino before, pero hindi ako magaling mag-Tagalog, hindi ako not really not fluent, but rather, hindi ako kasing fluent na mga Filipino teachers nyo, okay? So, yun, I can speak basic Korean as well. I have taught English classes, Filipino subjects, last year. Okay, last year lang ako nag-Filipino class kasi wala talaga kaming teacher last year. So, I also taught research subjects before. Kaya may background ako with that. Some of my hobbies and interests include traveling. Ayan, mahilig ako mag-travel kung saan-saan kasi may nunal ako sa paa. So, makati daw yung paa ko, sabi ng lola ko, kaya ganun. Kapag may nunal ka daw sa paa, ibig sabihin, makati yung paa mo. Gusto mong hindi ka mapirme sa isang lugar. So, you have to be somewhere else. Alright? I'm very much interested into East Asian culture. I like Japanese culture, Chinese culture, and of course, Korean. Yan. Love na love ko Korean and Japanese talaga. And I'm into K-drama recently. I also listen to foreign indie music. Kahit anong language pa yan. Pero basta gusto ko yung tunog niya, okay lang sa akin yan, I'll play it. I like reading about history. I also am into reading fiction books. So ngayon, nagbabawas kasi ako ng Netflix time kasi nga nagti-thesis ako. So ang ginagawa ko, instead na mag-Netflix, nagbabasa ako ng libro recently. So I'm into fiction books, especially romance books. I love watching crime documentaries, crime movies, crime documentaries. I love it. Lalo na kapag tungkol sa mga serial killers and whatnot. Gustong-gusto ko siya. And I love Twitter, microblogging platform. So, tambay ako ng Twitter. Doon ako nag-vent out. But I don't allow my students to see my Twitter account. So, yung Twitter account ko, private siya for my friends lang. As in, close friends lang talaga. Parang 100 plus lang sila nandun. So, yun lang. Yung mga kilala ko lang talaga and mga close friends ko lang. But I don't let my students see it. Kasi, syempre, yun yung place ko to vent out. I feel safe. So, ayan. If you are a Twitter person like me, you know how I feel. Okay? I'm into college basketball, but since there's no UAAP, wala tayong ganap diyan. I like baking and cooking as well. Ngayong pandemic, medyo nag-improve yung skills natin with that. But before, I baked a lot. Ngayon, cooking na. Okay, so, ayan. And one thing that you have to know about me is that I love pandas. So, I live for pandas. Ang dami kung wala tong green screen ko right now, at the back of this green screen, makikita niyo yung mga collection ko ng panda na stuffed toy. So I have about like probably more than 12. Basta marami, more than 10 panda stuffed toys, and some of them are big. So ayan, para akong may museum ng panda dito sa apartment ko kapag nagpunta kayo dito. Okay, so ayun po, that's what's about me. Alright. My consultation hours, online consultation hours are strictly from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. only. I could make adjustments. Actually, hindi to nasusunod, sa totoo lang. So, but sometimes I ask myself why I even bother. Pero, if you have like something big to consult with me and you need my time, I suggest you message me from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Kasi before 8 a.m., madalas may klase ako, katulad right now, hindi ko talaga kayo ma-accommodate. After 5 p.m. naman, pagod na ako niyan. So, on the words of Duque, warak na ako niyan. Okay, winarak na ako natatawa kayo winarak na ako ng trabaho. So, hindi na ako makapag-function properly at 5 p.m. And I live alone, so I do most of the chores by myself. So, I need time to prepare my dinner, to rest, and so on and so forth. Medyo marami kasi akong ginagawa, okay? Another thing pala that you have to know about me is that right now in UMAC, hindi lang po HSU ang designation ko. Meron din akong ibang ginagawa for the entire UMAC system. Yun nga, number 1, TBL Hub. So, TBL Hub, medyo painstaking na yun sa TBL Hub kasi ang dami talagang inquiries sa TBL Hub. So, madalas nagmi-meeting kami, madalas may ina-attendan kaming seminar for TBL Hub. So, sometimes it really takes up too much of my time. So, ayun po. And may mga events, minsan na kailangan nandun ako, pinag-organize, pinag-host, may mga bagay na kailangan gawin, and ayun. So, ayun, lucky na lang tayo na online nga, and asynchronous and synchronous yung platforms natin right now. So, on Facebook, you can see me, just search Teacher Kat Pingol. If you are part of the group already, or if you are not yet part of our class Facebook group, please join. Okay? So, pag ngayon medyo lost pa kayo, ano daw yung Facebook group? Tanungin niyo yung kaklase niyo na member na niyan. Okay? And then, I also request everyone to please just approve your classmates, ha? Kasi hindi ko kayo kilala lahat ngayon, as of the moment. So, kayo pa lang yung nakakakilala sa isa't isa. Alam niyo yung mga Facebook accounts ng isa't isa. So, please do check kung merong nalusutan tayo na baka ba may nag-join na hindi nyo pala kaklase. Remove nyo na lang sila. Meron naman kayong capacity to do so. So, yon, approve nyo na rin lang yung mga classmates nyo kasi I cannot do it all the time. Alright, so I'm just asking for help. If you need to email me, you can email me on these email account. So my personal teacher email account is mskfpingol@gmail.com. So that's misskfpingol@gmail.com. If you want to use your UMAC email account, type nyo lang dyan K Pingol, lalabas na dyan yung apelido ko, or lalabas na dyan yung pangalan ko. So, ayun, dalawa lang naman kaming Pingol sa UMAC. So, alam nyo na yan. Okay, you can email me in any of those accounts. But I highly suggest that if it's related to ACADS, then use the UMAC email account. If it's personal, you don't want others to monitor your activity, then just use my personal email account. Okay? So, ayan. What else do I have to say? All right. So, let me just end that. And let me go to discussing the TBL Hub. Present ko lang ha, para medyo wala na tayong oras sa daldal ko. Okay. So, this is our TBL Hub classroom. Can you see it na? I hope, ayan. I hope you can see it. Alright. So, let me just... Okay, I hope everyone can see it. So, on our TBL Hub classroom, if you haven't checked it by now, you can see, of course, you have here the announcement, course guides, attendance, initial activity, let's get to know each other. So, ayun. Okay, so announcements, very rare ko to ginagamit kasi, to be honest, hindi mo kayo nag-check ng TBL Hub all the time unless you have to submit or unless you have to check the lecture for the particular day, okay? So, di ako masyadong nagpo-post dyan. Mga important reminders lang, like for example, the grading system, reminders on module activities, and so on and so forth. Okay, pero most of my announcements will be on our Facebook group kasi doon kayo active. So, hindi ko na kailangan yung i-discuss kung bakit. Course guides, if you click on this, you would see na kung bagal na naman ng TBL Hub. Okay, so hindi ko na anuhin. But anyway, on course guides, nandyan yung course outline natin and yung course syllabus, including the university calendar. So, you are properly guided kung nasan na tayo, kung ano yung kailangan nating i-discuss. Okay? Please do note na yung course outline natin, course syllabus natin, medyo outdated na siya. But, same topics rin naman of discussion. Medyo hindi lang siya aligned with the how do I say this? With the calendar that we have right now. Okay, pero same topics of discussion din naman, almost same activities din naman yung gagawin natin. Hindi ko na to hidden from students na tong guidelines and submission of requirements kasi you will be submitting most of your requirements via TBL Hub and via Google Drive. Dati kasi purely Google Drive lang ako. Hindi ako gumagamit ng TBL Hub before for submission of requirements. So kahit picture lang yan, sa Google Drive ko pinapapasa. So ngayon, hindi na. Okay? Attendance. You are required to log in on TBL Hub, mark yourself present every Monday and Thursday. So the attendance module is open from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Okay? Kasi morning shift kayo eh. So hindi lang siya open from 6 to 7:30. Open siya from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. So you have 6 hours. 6 full hours to log in on TBL Hub, mark yourself present on our attendance. Check ko kung nag-work ha. Medyo mabagal kasi yung TBL Hub right now kasi lahat gumagamit na. Okay? So, ayan na naman tayo. Alam mo, isa rin tong problema kung bakit I don't really use TBL Hub on my particular time slot for a class. Okay? So, ayan. So, for example, this one, ang open ngayon is yung Monday. So, ngayon, dapat how do I say this? Dapat nag-attendance na kayo. So, kapag inopen nyo to, kapag clinic natin tong regular class session na to, ang tagal niya. Okay, basta yan, kapag clinic nyo yan, ayan, meron na. Okay, lalabas yung mga pangalan nyo. Tapos all you need to do is just click P. Ayan, isa lang naman yan. P, present. Hindi ko na nilagay yung iba kasi baka malito pa kayo kung ano-ano pang i-mark nyo. So, yun na lang yung nilagay ko. P na lang. Okay na yun. Okay, automatic yan kapag syempre hindi kayo nag-mark after 12 o'clock, absent na siya. Okay? But, for example, there are instances, ma'am, wala talaga kaming kuryente, ma'am, wala kaming internet. Wala naman pong problema. Just tell me after you have regained your access. So, kapag nakabalik na kayo, meron na kayo internet, may kuryente na ulit kayo, message nyo kagad ako, ma'am, sorry po, hindi ako nakapag-attendance. Baka po pwedeng i-mark nyo ako as present kasi gumawa naman ako activity, blah, 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 and so on. Nasa Google Meet naman ako, blah, 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 and so on. Ay, hindi pala siya nasa Google Meet kasi wala nga internet. So, basta yun, yung ganun. May reason. Okay? So, may reason, may excuse, may valid naman na excuse. So, why not? Okay? Diba? Sabi sa inyo, hindi ako madamot. Attendance is also graded. Pero yung attendance natin, towards the end of the finals pa yan kasama ng participation nyo in class. So, finals pa yan kasama na grade. Pero syempre, malaki pa rin yung hatak niyan. And madalas po, yung attendance kasi nilalagay ko siya sa written works. So, 40% pa rin yun. So, kahit na 40% lang, but still, malaki pa rin yung hatak niya, di ba? So, yun. As much as possible, do record yourself. You are given 6 hours. You have 6 hours. Complete 6 hours. Hindi ko kasi siya pwedeng i-open the entire day kasi abuso naman yon. Pero within that 6 hours, morning shift kayo, I'm pretty sure active kayo during that time kasi at least meron kayong isang klase sa isang araw. So, ayun, you can access it. Simple lang naman yan. Meron na, congratulations sa mga nag-record na. So, that's all you have to do. Just mark yourself present. That's every Monday and Tuesday, regardless if we have a synchronous session or we don't have a synchronous session. So regardless kung nagkita tayo during that day, every Monday and Thursday, you have to mark yourself present. Are we clear? Can I see raise hands kung clear tayo? Ayan. Okay, good job. Ayun. So, medyo hindi pa ako nag-aano ng ano ngayon ha, nagtatanong-tanong ng mga questions ngayon kasi ang dami kong kailangang i-discuss. But anyway, okay, balik tayo sa course ninyo. So, ayun. Yun lang. Yun lang naman yung paalala ko with TBL Hub. You have to mark yourself present and of course, complete the requirements. Ma'am, ano ba yung mga requirements natin? Since developer ako ng TBL Hub, ang TBL Hub classroom ko, always prepared in advance yan. Kasi kailangan yan. Kailangan namin ipakita yan sa mga binibigyan namin ng seminar. So yung TBL Hub ko, lagi yung prepared in advance. Everything from course introduction up until, kung makikita nyo ito, up until the last lesson, 11th lesson, ready na yan. Okay, lahat nandyan na. Pati activities nyo nandyan na. Pati yung mga reflection nyo nandyan na siya. So, hindi na siya, throughout the semester, I don't have to do anything anymore and except check your requirements. Kasi everything has been prepared for you in advance. Okay? So, yun yung advantage ng preparing my TBL Hub classroom. Kasi nakafocus lang ako, I have plenty of time to check your requirements. So, yun. Kaya ako naisa-isa din yung requirements. Alright, so, we have actually 12 lessons, but tina natin isama yung course introduction kasi that's what we are doing right now. So, we have 11 lessons for this semester. We will cover lesson 1 until lesson 7 if we have time. Lesson 1 to lesson 7 for midterms. Yun yung i-cover natin. Lesson 8 to lesson 11, finals na yon. Kasi yon medyo mabigat na yon kasi public speaking yon. So, lesson 1 to lesson 7, mga theoretical backgrounds pa lang yan. So, conceptual backgrounds pa lang. Not much how do I say this? Performance task. The heavy performance task. Okay, so, you will be asked certain activities in here. Okay, may tanong. Ang tanong lagi, ma'am, may module ka na naka-upload. Ibig sabihin po ba na yung activities na nandun sa module mo gagawin namin? No. The answer is no. Kung ano lang po yung naka-indicate na activity sa TBL Hub, yun lang ang gagawin nyo na requirement. You can read through the module, wala pong problema dyan. You can read that in advance once it's available for you. But the activities, only those that are indicated as activities, yun lang. So kung makikita nyo po dito, madalas ang activity ko lang sa isang lesson, sa isang linggo, isa lang. Okay? Actually, medyo dalawa kasi may lesson reflection kayo, which is short lang naman, 5 to 10 sentences, 3 to 5 sentences, walang problema. Okay? So short lang yan, lesson reflection lang yan, madali lang yan. Isa, dalawa, most na yung tatlo. Pero yun, hindi naman siya mahirap. Yung iba quizzes lang, for example, this one. So, quizzes lang yan na matatapos yung in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So, after that, hinga na kayo. Wala na kayo ibang gagawin. So, ayun. Hindi naman siya mahirap. I believe hindi siya mahirap. But in any case na mahirapan kayo, ma'am, hindi ko po kayang gawin to, baka po pwedeng i-adjust natin ng konti or marami pong nagre-reklamo sa class na wala silang kapasidad to do this, then we can always adjust naman po. So, katulad nga in the words of Noy Aquino, kayo ang boss ko. So, you just have to tell me kung nahihirapan kayo if it's impossible for you. Okay? Yun lang ha, kapag imposible talaga. Halimbawa, nagkaroon ng national blackout. National blackout, hindi lahat nakapagpasa. Okay lang yon. Pero kung isa ka lang naman na hindi nakapagpasa, tapos ang excuse mo lang ay nagbantay ka ng kapatid mo, baka time na para kausapin ni ma'am si mommy or si daddy na si mama at si papa mo na bigyan ka naman ng time para makapag-accomplish ng mga tasks sa school. Okay? After all, school naman 'to. Hindi naman tayo naglalaro-laro dito, okay? So, yun lang. Konti lang 'yan. Sa isang lesson in a week, mga isa, dalawa lang yung mga activities na kailangan yung gawin, which will not really take too much of your time. So, dun lang tayo banda sa dulo. Medyo matrabaho kasi ito public speaking na to, so you will be doing speeches. Pero before you could even do speeches, prepare naman kayo muna for that. So may mga practice, okay? Ito yung medyo mabibigat, but don't worry kasi ito namang mga lessons na to, lessons 9, 10 and 11 towards the end of the semester na to. And more often than not, 2 weeks to. 2 weeks yung given allotted time period for this classes. Okay? So, wala pong problema. Okay, and I can always adjust naman the deadline. Alright? Madalas po ang deadline ko ay towards the end of the semester. Towards the end of the quarter. So, halimbawa, kung si activity 1 to activity 7, di ba lahat sila may activity. So, activity 1 to activity 7, ang deadline ng mga activities na yon until you can submit until the very last day of midterm. So, yon. Pwede kayo. Halimbawa, talagang hirap kayong ma-access. Nagtatrabaho kasi ako, baka po pwedeng during the last week na lang ng midterm. Okay lang naman yun, basta makapagpasa ka. Ang problema nga lang kasi, ito, yung TBL Hub Classroom natin, nakaset up siya in such a way na hindi ka pwedeng mag-move on. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-move on sa isang lesson kapag hindi mo pa nagagawa yung kabilang lesson, yung naunang lesson. So, hindi mo ma-access yung ilang materials dun sa susunod na lesson kapag hindi mo natapos yung dapat gawin dun sa previous lesson. So, yun lang yung take ko doon. Unless, of course, i-open mo lahat yan at mag-submit ka ng kung ano-ano dyan. Pero, as much as possible, I want you to properly pace yourselves. Ayoko na nagka-cram kayo towards the end kasi hindi lang yan mahirap for you, mahirap din yan for me. Rodalyn, you have a question? Rodalyn, you are raising your hand?
No, ma'am, hindi po kasi nababa kanina
Okay.
nung
Sige.
nag-raise hand.
Okay. Sige. Ayan. Okay lang naman. Alright. So, ayun. I hope you understand also where I'm coming from. Kasi hindi lang yan mahirap sa inyo, mahirap din yan sa teacher. And ako, personally, all of my documents, I want them to be prepared ahead of time. I want them to be submitted ahead of time. Kasi ang dami ko talagang ginagawa. Okay? Last sem, sa sobrang dami kong ginagawa, late ako nakapag-submit ng mga grades. So, ayun. Kasi nga, I make sure I have to consult it with you guys first. I have to show it to my students first. So, medyo na late ako dahil doon. And yun nga, part na rin na marami akong ginagawa. And alam ko, kayo din, marami din kayong ginagawa. Kung marami akong ginagawa, marami din kayong ginagawa. So, hindi lang naman ako ang subject teacher nyo for this semester. You have 6, 7 classes, and I expect that those classes will give you a lot more. So, wag na natin masyadong dagdagan, okay? Kung kaya namang gawing this particular time, why not? Okay? So, ayan yung TBL Hub Classroom natin. What else do I have to discuss about TBL Hub Classroom? On lesson reflections, lahat yan, actually lahat ng activities, may instructions yan. So, I expect everyone to read them properly. I'll stop sharing for now para makita ko na kayo and I can take attendance na soon. Okay, so, ayun, I expect everyone to just read the instructions carefully kasi I make sure na yung instructions na yon ay madaling maintindihan at nandun na lahat. Wala nang tanong-tanong. Kasi ako, ayoko din ng paulit-ulit yung tanong as much as possible na tinanong na nung isang kaklase, tatanungin pa ulit nung isa. So, ayun. Everything is there All you need to do is just read and comprehend, understand. Okay? That's what I expect from everyone. All right. So, ma'am, paano po ang setup natin pagdating sa classroom, sa synchronous session natin? Are we going to have synchronous session every Monday? Okay. I am giving you the choice right now. Kasi last sem, I'm gonna discuss, hindi ko pa kayo kasi nagiging estudyante. So for the previous semesters, last year, last academic year, what I did was, I do video recordings of my lecture. And then, I asked my students to watch that during the days that we were supposed to have synchronous session. So, nagiging available siya every Monday. Okay? So, kung Monday ang klase natin, every Monday nagiging available siya. Kasi, I've noticed that if I do a lot of talking, there is lesser opportunities. If I do my synchronous sessions, every time that we were supposed to have synchronous sessions, the opportunity for my students to speak up, to talk, lessons. Kasi ako lang yun ako lang yung nagde-deliver ng lecture. So, ang opportunity nyo lang to talk is of course kapag recitation and kapag nagtanong ako, kapag may tanong kayo, ganun lang yung nagiging interaction natin. Kasi gusto ni teacher na matapos yung lecture niya within that span, within that particular time. So, nagdi-discuss lang talaga si teacher, di ba? So, ayoko ng ganun. Kung yung discussion naman, pwede nyo naman panoorin at a convenient time, at a more convenient time, and then you can ano ba tawag dito? You can gather your questions, write down your questions, and then during our synchronous sessions, that's the time that we will acknowledge them. So during our synchronous sessions, it's a time for us to address your questions, your concerns, your clarifications regarding the particular lesson or lessons in class, and then we have activities. So, madalas nagpapagame si ma'am. Madalas talaga yan. During synchronous session, nagpapagame talaga ako kapag marami kaming oras. Okay? So, nagpapagame ako and of course, may prizes. So, yung mga estudyante ko, madalas ganun yung setup namin. Okay? And it worked for us kasi hindi sila na-hassle. Hindi nila kailangan gumising every Monday ng 6 to 7:30 a.m. Okay? But, if it will not work for you, okay lang naman po. We will have our synchronous session, synchronous lectures. So, that's every Monday. Now, I'm asking you guys, what do you prefer? Sige, anyone can answer. What do you prefer? Would you rather have me would you rather have me prepare video recordings and then you can watch it at your own time, at your own pace, and then we will still have synchronous session but not as regularly as you would expect it to be? I think I do my synchronous sessions every other week. So, hindi tayo every week magkikita. Every other week lang tayo magsisynchronous session. Minsan nga, once a month lang kapag sobrang busy talaga or pag hindi talaga kailangan. So, I'm giving you the opportunity to choose. Which would you prefer? Mas natututo ba kayo kapag nagle-lecture si ma'am na real time or mas okay sa inyo na at your own pace? What would you prefer? Anyone? Zaira, go ahead.
I think po mas maganda na video recording po para po if ever na hindi namin maintindihan yung isang part, pwede namin siyang iulitin na lang. Yun lang naman
Okay.
po yung mistake.
Yun. Actually, that's one advantage. That's why I also, honestly, personally, hindi naman sa tamad ako magturo at gumising every 6 o'clock. It's not that, but I'm also considering kasi the situation of other students. Yung iba dyan nagtrabaho buong gabi. Kailangan gumising ng 6 a.m. So yung utak nila, hindi pa talaga ready to learn. Unlike kapag merong video recordings kasi ng lectures, if you have been to my YouTube channel na mostly discussions lang naman ng ng mga klase ko, you would know how I conduct my classes. So nagdi-discuss talaga ako. Hindi lang siya yung presentation ng as in how I would do my lectures, ganun ko siya nire-record. Okay, yun nga lang, nawawala lang yung question and answer, yung opportunity for you to ask your clarifications real time, you ask your questions real time. But it's not as if we were not gonna address those. I-address pa rin naman natin siya. Pero yun nga lang, during synchronous session, baka after a week pa or so. Or if very pressing talaga yung concern nyo, then you can always use our discussion forum on TBL Hub, and you can always message me on Facebook. How about the rest of the class? I want to hear from others. Sige po. You are free to talk. Yes,
Can I be
Israel.
recognized, ma'am?
Yes, go ahead now. Israel first. Go ahead.
Ma'am, clarify ko lang po. It would be a combination of live interactions and discussions po, tapos pre-recorded po, ma'am, no?
Yes. So we will be doing that. So every Monday, it's either, actually, kahit naman mag-video, I mean, kahit naman mag-lecture ako sa inyo, if you prefer na mag-lecture ako sa inyo ng real time, like this one, wala namang problema kasi kailangan ko pa rin mag-record ng mga video lectures because I need to keep my YouTube account alive. So marami ring mga estudyante from other schools kasi nagre-request sila. So I have to keep that one alive as well. Pero yun nga po, halimbawa, you chose na mag-video lectures tayo. Next week, hindi tayo magsisynchronous session. Yung video lecture, magiging available siya starting next week. And then you can watch it, you can accomplish the activities. And then week after that, dun tayo magsisynchronous session ulit. Pero hindi na ako magle-lecture sa inyo during that time. Available na ulit yung second lesson. Di ba lesson 1 tayo next week? So hindi tayo synchronous, video tayo. Next, the week after that, available na ulit si lesson 2, which you will be expected to watch already. And then for that synchronous session for that particular week, pwede na natin i-discuss si lesson 2, yung mga questions na regarding lesson 2 and lesson 1. And then pwede na tayong mag-game about lesson 1 and lesson 2. So ganun siya. So, hindi siya yung typical, yung synchronous session na ine-expect nyo na yung typical na si teacher nagpapakita ng slides tapos nagdi-discuss ng lesson. Hindi siya ganun. Ang gusto ko kapag nagsisynchronous session tayo, it's an opportunity for us to interact with one another. It's an opportunity for us to talk. Okay, sige, Israel, go ahead.
Ma'am, ano po, we'll go with the pre-recorded videos din po. Kasi from last year po, ang experience po namin kasi, yung 6 a.m. po kasi ma'am, for majority of us, mahirap po talaga siya ma'am. Tas parang midway, sa kalagitnaan ng term or ng buong year, pabawas yung attendance namin ng 6 a.m. Tapos, pag pre-recorded po ma'am, I guess, judging from your explanation po, parang every synchronous classes will have more time for interaction po. So, we'll go with the pre-recorded videos po.
Are the rest of the class in favor of that setup? Sige, can I see a raise of hands? For those who are in favor of that setup, can I see? Don't put it down first, ha? Okay, kasi this one is recording para ito yung contract natin na okay sa inyo yung ganong setup. Ayan. So, majority if you are in favor of that setup. Wala naman pong problema. Okay, so, ayun, expect na on Monday, wala tayong synchronous session. Makakatulog kayo ng mahimbing from 6 o'clock to 7:30 a.m. Okay, so, ayun, totoo yun. And na-experience ko rin yan na maski naman basta nagsisynchronous session na towards the end of the semester, nababawasan na talaga. Meron akong class, hindi ko nakasabihin ko anong section siya, pero nung umpisa, ang dami nila. As in, 35 sila. Tapos, habang nagsisynchronous sessions kami, early ako nagsisynchronous session sa kanila. Every week ako may synchronous session sa kanila before. Pabawas ng pabawas. As in, until the very last day na nag-synchronous session kami. Alam niyo kung ilan na lang sila? 10 na lang sila na umattend ng klase ko. So, nabawasan na talaga sila. As in, sobrang, hindi ko alam kung matatawa ako, maiiyak ako dahil ganun yung setup namin. Okay, so, ayun po. the links of the video lectures will always be available for you regardless of what you have chosen. Okay, but anyway, but still, okay, I would rather much prefer it for you to have the convenience kasi that's what flexible learning is all about. At least, katulad nga ng nasabi kanina, di ba, kapag nandyan na yung video lecture, pwede nyo siyang balik-balikan. Even after you have graduated, nandyan na siya. Pwede nyo siyang balik-balikan. Okay? Kapag ang utak nyo gumagana lang siya from 12 a.m. to 1 a.m., pwede nyo panoorin yung video during that time, accomplish the activities during that time, wala pong problema. Okay? Kasi that's what flexible learning is all about. Okay, actually, I'm advocating for this kind of setup. Ayoko talaga nung every day, every week may synchronous session kasi that's not what online distance learning is all about. Kaya hindi rin siya na-appreciate ng mga estudyante ngayon. Tama? Kasi alam niyo yun, yung parang wala lang, parang nilipat mo lang yung classroom mo sa Google Meet. Ganun lang yung nangyayari. And that's not supposed to be the case. So, I'm an advocate kasi of flexible learning. So, this is supposedly an opportunity for us to modernize education and yet we cannot do it kasi we are stuck with our old ways. Di ba? Imaginein mo yun, nagtuturo ka pero parang nilipat mo lang yung classroom mo sa Google Meet tapos magrereklamo ka mahirap. You could have done better things. So, ayun, yun po, ganun tayo. So, it's okay for the rest of the class. Thank you everyone. You may now put your hands down po. Yung mga naka-raise hands, pwede nyo na pong ibaba. Okay, so I hope we are clear with that. We still have a few minutes. Do you have any other questions? Clarifications that you want to make? Let me address, sige, Israel, go ahead.
Ma'am, yung links po ba sa Google Meet, yun na po lagi or nagpapalit?
No. Lagi tayo nagpapalit ng links, okay? So, the links will change differently. So, ako naman, ito yung good thing about me. Sasabihan ko kayo kung kailan tayo magsisynchronous session. So unless I have the announcement that we will be having a synchronous session, then don't expect to have a synchronous session. You could always move forward with our lectures. Okay? Malinaw tayo? So, katulad next week, wala tayong synchronous session. Every week kasi ako nagpo-post sa Facebook group. So, every Sunday night, nagpo-post ako kung ano yung mga gagawin natin for the entire week. And sinasabi ko na doon kung asynchronous tayo or synchronous session tayo. Kapag synchronous, I will tell you in advance and I will post the link right away. Basta po, lahat ng announcement natin will always be on Facebook group. Okay, malinaw tayo. Hindi ako nagpapa-Facebook chat, Messenger kasi nga natatabunan. Sobrang natatabunan talaga siya. And I don't want naman to not address other students' concern. Any other questions po regarding our synchronous sessions, the link? Meron bang mga tanong? Clarifications that you want to make? Wala na? Nako, hindi na ako nakapag-check ng attendance. Oh my God. Alright, so quick rundown lang. Please say present kapag nandito kayo. Let me call on, correct me if I'm wrong ha, yung mga pangalan nyo. Apologista or Apologista Jose Francesca?
Apologista po. Cheska na lang po.
Okay, so present. Bailo Israel, present. Tama? Okay. Banggilan John Vince.
Present po, ma'am.
Banggilan Rodalyn.
Present po.
Correct me if I'm wrong ha, kapag mali yung pagkaka-pronounce ko, I don't wanna murder your names. Batukan Rizel Jamie.
Present po.
Riones Rainier Clyde.
Present po, ma'am.
Okay. Camacho Vincent Clint.
Present po, ma'am.
Kala ko ABM ka na. Cardenio
Hindi
Curl
po.
Lawrence. Cardenio Curl Lawrence.
Present po.
Lavelle Rose Ann.
Present po.
De Pablo Katrina.
De Pablo Clarice po.
Sorry, maduling na ako. De Pablo Clarice. Thank you for correcting me. Eliseo Katrina.
Present po, ma'am.
Diba, naduduling na ako. Fernandez Julia Alessandra. Fernandez Julia Alessandra, are you here? Wala siya. Flores John Rod. Present po. Okay. Guerrero, si John Rod. Is John Rod here? Guerrero Christian Anthony.
Present po, ma'am.
Present. Hernando Rain Villet.
Present po, ma'am. Violet po.
Violet. Okay. Ignacio Jude Robert.
Present po.
Damoste Alia.
Present po.
Magbanwa Jane.
Present po.
Malyari Rainy Marie.
Present po.
Manlangit Jamiel Andre Steven.
Present po.
Present daw si yes nak, ay market already. Nice or Nitse Lawrence.
Present po, ma'am. Macy po.
Nise, okay. Pancho Gabriel Francine.
Present po.
Thank you. Peralta Sheila Marie.
Present po, ma'am.
Kitlong Rochelle Pauline.
Present po, ma'am.
Aluta Wednesday.
Present po.
How do you say your name? Wednesday or Wednesday? Wednesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday po.
Wednesday. Okay. Sanggalang Jareen Ann.
Present po. Sanggalang po, ma'am.
Sanggalang. Okay. Santa Maria Ernie Laraquel Rose.
Present po.
Okay. Tablanda Mary Joy.
Present po.
Ambag Nadine.
Present po.
Tumamaw Arian.
Present po.
Villanueva Christine Joyce.
Present po.
Villar Zaira Christine Ann.
Present po.
Okay, thank you. So, si John Rod lang yung wala right now. Tama ba ko? Tama? Okay, sige po. Alright, so if you don't have any questions, I hope to see everyone active on our Facebook group. You can use that as a platform to discuss anything related to class. If you have anything to share related to our lecture, why not po? Use that. You are free to use our Facebook classroom po or Facebook group chat for that. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, once again, thank you Grade 12-03 HUMSS. Thank you for staying 3 minutes after 7:30. Maraming salamat po. Thank you everyone. You may now leave the room po. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.